Hello guys, welcome to my new YouTube channel, Python Tutorials by Sumit. My name is Sumit, and today I'm going to explain Python concepts in depth. So, this is my new YT channel. If you like my content, please subscribe and like, share, and whatever you want. So, let's start our journey with Python. And special thanks to Shreyan's Coding School also to present this content on behalf of them. I would like to start my presentation. So, first of all, to truly understand, let's say installation of Python. So, installation of Python, first of all, you can do download the Python. For downloading the Python, go to any browser, go to python.org. Just search this thing on the website and download the Python on your operating device, whatever you have, for example, 64-bit or 34-bit. Now install it and you will get the Python virtual machine, which will help you to convert the code to bytecode. So you can use any type of integrated development IDE environment like VS Code, PyChamp, or Jupyter, whatever you are comfortable with. After setting up, you can read here for setup and creating the first program. Okay. After that, let's start with our first concepts with comments and variables. Well, today we'll learn about comments and variables and many more in further. First of all, let's study about comments. Comments in Python. Well, comments are something that are ignored by the Python interpreters. So basically, the comments are generally used to define a particular sentence, a particular line of code, to explain a particular line of code or sentence. Uh, for comments, we use hash functions to writing a comment in Python. To basically, its basic use is to explain any particular line of code. We can use a multi-line comments too. Like if we have more than two-line comments, we cannot write every time hash. It's like so much to do. We can easily use multi-line comment, and that is done by three asterisk sign. Sorry, three quotation with the help of three quotation marks, as you can see here. Okay. Next, we are going to study variables in Pythons. Variables in Pythons. In Python, variables are used as a storage to store things in Python. We'll see later what we have to store basically, but just for now, you understand the variables are like a storage or container which stores the values. Basically, they represent the values. If you want in real life, let's suggest if you want to store some data, you need something to represent it with and should be unique basically, so that you can define every thing to each variable uniquely. So variable should be unique. Okay, like yeah, here you can see example name is equal to Akash. So here the variable is name, as you can see, and the Akash is been stored as a form of a data in the name. And age is also a variable here. The numeric data has been stored as a 12. Okay, don't use these things here as stated. Like you cannot use the numbers at variable start. It is not a rule in variables. There are some set of rules also for in Python's with for representing variables. You cannot use spaces in variables. You should not use special characters in variables basically. Okay. So after that, there are naming conventions. You can write variables in Python using three ways: camel case, Pascal's case, and snake case. These are the three types of case by which you can write variables in Python. After that, data types. Let's talk about data types. Well, data types are the things that we store, uh, things we store in variables, and it defines the type of data variables are. Variables, what variables do? Variable stores the data. Data types are the things which basically define the type of data which is been stored in variable. For example, Python has a built-in data types for different kinds of data. As you can see, high-level programming language has a built-in data types. Whereas if you talk about C programming language, that is a basic fundamental low programming language. It does not have a built-in functions and built-in data types also. Python has. So these are some built-in data types. As you can see, numbers, strings, and booleans. In numbers, there are three: integer, float, complex. We'll study more later. For now, these three. Integers, all the numbers excluding decimal places and fractions are the type of integer data types. Float are all the decimal numbers and fraction values. And complex are the numbers with real and imaginary parts are complex. Let's talk about the strings. This is used to store anything in Python, literally anything that are available on your keyboard. Let's see, you have to use a quotes to store anything. It will be the considered as a string. You can use double quotations or single quotations. One more thing you used to understand that string basically in depth, if we say strings are generally the things which are used to basically represent a sort of word, so that that word thing so that that word or a number is can be easily taken as a input. Okay, strings helps us to take input from the, you can say, from the compiler. So strings store anything in Python. If you want, if you cannot just write a word like keyboard, Python will not understand the word keyboard. You have to enclose it with double quotations or single quotations so that it can be stored, and it can be now will be, if when we write the print statement after that, that particular thing will be taken as output. So that's the fundamental rule in Python. Basically, if you want to store something, anything in Python, and you want to take that thing out as an output by writing print statement, you want compulsory, you want to enclose with that thing with the double quotations or single quotations. Next is boolean. There's nothing much to say about this data type, as you because it's just have two values like true and false. Boolean are the data types whose results are in the form of true and false. Now let's talk about strings. Okay, uh, string indexing too. So let's talk about strings in depth. How strings works, as we have already said, you know what strings are, but you must also know the string take more spaces than other types, data types like integer, float, etc. This happens because string stores every character with their own Unicode. Unicode is an universal characters encoding standard that assigns a unique number code point to every character regardless of language. Like a Unicode is 65, and a smile emoji, this emoji Unicode is 12852. For example, you can check them by using ordinary functions in Python and convert them back using character functions too. Well, string indexing, you must have thoughts there are so many characters in string, but can you access everyone? Yes, that's possible using indexing. Indexing starts from 0 and goes it till the number of characters you have. Example, let's suppose hello. First of all, let's talk about string. As I've said yesterday, already have told about string. Strings are generally, as I already said, these are character encoding. Each character has an encode, Unicode, which can be identified by using the function ordinary ORD functions. Now talking about string indexing. Indexing are types of, in short, you understand indexing as an address of a alphabet in a word or a sentence. You must have thought there are so many characters in string, but can you access everyone? Yes. In Python, you can with the help of indexing. As I already said, yes, that possible. Indexing start from 0, goes till the number of characters you have. Example, if you say hello, now if you want to access the word H, you have to start from here 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, if you want from start from -1, you have to say O. If you want to access O word, that in the same form, negative indexing also starts from -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Want to access H word, you can either write -5 or you can write 0. You will get H word in the both way. The result will be same. Okay. Now in this case, if you want to access 0, remember you cannot you can use either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can either use 4 or you can use -1. The result will be same. Oh, okay. Let's talk about string slicing. You know how to access characters in string, but there are slicing options as well. Slicing, string slicing, we can say is like an upgraded version of indexing, more specific version of indexing. Slicing basically is a term, if you say in real life, consider slicing as when you cut a piece of cake sliced in equal parts, as we say. So that likewise, slicing is like this. If the word is hello, so if you want to slice, you take a ratio of 1 is to 4, and just according to that, you will get the result like 0, 1, 12, pick the value e to 4 till 3 only. If this the ratio is 1 is to 4, we'll pick the slice till 3 only. That's the rule of string slicing. So here we start stops and steps position keeps a note. If we stop at 4, it will slice till 3 only. Type conversions. For understanding type conversions, you have to look at these four things: integer, float, string, bool. As we have earlier I explained these things, you can now also refer here: integer, float, string, bool. These are the four basic type conversions in Python. There are more functions like this, but these are the four main functions. Looking at these functions, you can guess these are used to convert one data type to another. Example, a is equal to 12, a string a, print a, if it's the 12, a will be converted to string. Okay. Likewise, there are two types of conversions: implicit and explicit. Implicit in this Python automatically converts data from one data type to another. You've already seen the example before. Okay, like if example a is equal to 12, print 8 by 2, the output will be 6.0. Clearly we had the data type as in, but after dividing, Python automatically converts the data type to float. But in explicit, this we as a user use in built-in functions to convert one data type to another, like integer, float, complex, string, list, tuple, set, dictionary, bool. There are some explicit conversions that you might not understand, but further you will understand. Type conversion concepts. Some important concepts of type conversions are: you cannot convert a character to an integer. That basic. Watch the video for more set of informations. These are the informations we can refer. Input and output. You probably know till now how to provide the output of the code you have written, that with the print function too, as I earlier explained. But the main question is how to ask user for some information. So you can use this thing to understand. For example, there is a user and you want to ask the age of that user. How can you do so? It's easy to using print input function. You by taking input, you can do that. So now the default data type of input is always string. Reason is simple: you can store anything in string. You have to manually convert the data type to input statements. Question is like, there are some sort of questions you can refer. Accept numbers from user, accept age from the users, and print it. Now let's talk about operators. Operators are the symbols that perform operations on variables and values. Python has several types of operators for different tasks like arithmetic, comparisons, logical operations, and more. Let's see every operators one by one. Arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators perform mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. There are seven types of arithmetic operators: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, float division, modulus, exponentials. Like a is equal to 12, b is equal to 8. If you want to print a plus b, the output will give you 20, definitely, like that. Like assignment operator, if you say assignment operators are used to assign values to variables, Python also provides a compound assignment operators that perform operations like addition, subtractions, multiplications, and etc. A basic assignment operator is simple. Compound assignment operator is like combines arithmetic operations with assignment. First, you have to understand how things work when we reassign variables in Python, also reassign variables with addition, subtraction, etc. To understand, watch the videos carefully, and that's it. Comparison operators, also called relational operators, are used to compare two values like this. These are the things which you can refer. These are some questions which you can solve. True, false, boolean results for boolean results. Okay. So these are all the things. Hope these understands helps you. These are operators which we have studied. Here, operators are symbols that perform operations on variables and values. Python has several types of operators for different tasks like arithmetic, comparison, logical operations, and more. Let's see every operators one by one. As you've seen here, these are all okay. After that, let's go to assignment operator. Assignment operators are used to assign values to variables. Python also provides compound assignment operators that performs operation like addition, subtraction, multiplication, etc. A basic assignment operator is simple is equal to compound assignment operator. Compound assignment operators combines arithmetic operations with assignment. But first you have to understand how things work. Then we reassign variables in Python, also reassigning variables with addition, subtraction, etc. To understand with this, watch video carefully. There's no need of this. You're watching the video. Add and assign, subtract and assign, multiply and assign, divide and assign, float, divide and assign. There we have studied compound assign operators works as different. As you can see, plus equals to add and assign, exponential and shell. These are the simple ways to basically do multiple tasks at a one time, like you are assigning the value and doing operation. Both things you are doing at the same time. This saves the time in code, basically. It's a smart choice. After that, comparison operator. As you can see, comparison operators are also called as a relationals used to compare two values. Comparison operator will always provide Boolean result, that is true and false. Comparison operators are as follows: equals to, double equals to. There's a difference between single equals to and double equals to. Double equals to basically is an equals to. It is then when equals to if the values and are also same and the data type is also same, then these are equal to. If the data type is different, then it is just one time equal to. Not equal to, you have to use as under exclamation mark, equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to. These are some comparison operators, as you can say, which will work with numbers, but you can use them with strings as well. Strings will be comparing the ASCII values of strings. Logical operators in Python are used to combine multiple conditions and return a Boolean results, true like true or false. There are three types of logical operators: and, or not. These are three basic logical operators. And basically returns true if both conditions are true, or returns true if at least one condition is true, and not reverse the Boolean values. Okay. Next are some tribal questions for you guys. Answer true and false. Print 126 is greater than 30. Which will be based, obviously it's false. And likewise, these are other examples. So let's see. Next is conditional statements. Conditional statements in Python allow decision making by executing different blocks of code based on condition. Decision making can be understood with an example. Example, you will receive a number from the user. If the number is greater than 10, you will do the task and task A, and lower than 10, you will do task B. So it's like that only. Number, task A, task B. Here the situation is simple. Number will decide which task will be executed. That means now we'll control the flow of our program based on some conditions. That's why these statements are also known as control flow statements. Okay. So there are types of conditional statements too. Generally there are three types of variations in condition statements. For syntax, you have to watch the video for better understanding as you are watching it. So no use of this. First is if, and second is if else, and third is if else. These are the three main types of conditional statements. If executes if the condition is true, if else executes if the condition executes if true, another if false. If else is the special case, which is basically used, checks the multiple condition sequence. If condition code to execute if condition is true, if condition is true, if else as I have said. Likewise, vice versa. Some questions on conditional statements are here, like the great thing is you can use logical operator as well here. These are some questions for you guys. Condition. Accept two numbers and print the greatest between them. Accept the gender from the user as character and print the respective greeting messages. Good morning, sir. On the basis of gender, you can write here. Accept an integer, check whether it is an even number or odd number, etc. After that, if elif ladder. You can also create if elif ladder using multiple conditions of elif. For understanding, solve these questions. You can solve this question. Like below 0 degrees centigrade, freezing cold. 0 to 10 degrees centigrade, very cold. You can use if elif here statements. It will be very easy to represent these things in the form of if, elif, and else in Python. Next, we are going to study is loops. Loops in Python is an important. So let's start. Loops in Python allow us to execute a block of code multiple times without rewriting it. It works, it is easy to use. Let's do one thing to go to your VS Code first of all and print hello world 100 times. You can't able to do that. Manually printing is not possible. It will take 100 code lines to print it, but using the loops we need only 2 lines to print 100 times. That's the power of loops. It ease the work of repetition. That's why loops are helpful. There are two types of loops in Python, for loop and while loops. For understanding both types of loop, let's take a scenario. We will see a great example. You have a bucket filled with water and an empty bucket with mug. So in scenario one, you have to transfer 4 mugs of water from one bucket to another. In scenario two, you have to transfer all the water from the first bucket to another via mug. Okay. Intuition of loops. In the first scenario, you have the number of mugs to transfer from one bucket to another. Here you know how many numbers of iteration you have to go through, like you have to transfer only 4 mugs. So when you know the number of iteration, you will use a for loop. In this scenario, in the second scenario, you don't know how many mugs you need to transfer, but you do know the condition that determines when to stop. So when you don't know how many iterations you have to use, but you know, well, you know a condition that determines when to stop, you will use while loops. Okay. Next is for loop. For loop range functions you can use as a for loop range functions. Before understanding for loops, you should know how range function works. The range function used to generate a sequence of numbers which is commonly used in loops. Syntax of range function is simple. Range start stop steps. You have 3 points from where you want to start till where you want to stop and how many steps you want. If you don't mention start points, the default value will be 0. If you don't mention the steps, default step will be 1. If you have to mention the stop point, otherwise the range function will not work. Loops for numbers. For using loops with numbers to meet the range function, best way to understand is going with an example. You have to print number from 1 to 5. We'll solve this question using for loops and range functions in further. For I in range, you can use 1 to 6. Here use the range. Range also helps to ease the work. You can print any numeric value in the range of 1 to 6. This is the help. So this is the syntax which will help you to print any random number from 1 to 6, any range random number value. So this is how you use for loop. Okay.